Aloha and welcome back. My name is Jennifer O'Neill. I help people take the spiritual tools and gifts they were born with and integrate them into their everyday life. Today I want to talk about, are you feeling psychic, or do you feel like you have gifts and abilities? Do you feel like, has any point in time, maybe when you were younger, maybe even recently, like you can hear spirits or you know that they're around and you just can't tune in? Do you feel like you're just on the cusp of, like, there's a message or there's something and you can't quite get it, you can't quite tune in, and you're frustrated? I get it. But today I want to talk about why that is. People do all have, and I teach this all the time, you always have the natural ability to be able to tune into your psychic gifts, and tune into your psychic senses, your spiritual body. You always have the natural ability to do that. But most of the time, throughout your young life, your young adult life, whatever, you've been trained. You've actually been trained to ignore it. You've been trained to be very physical and be in a very physical body. And so you've brushed all your knowledge under the rug, so to speak. And when your awareness then comes back, if you're back on a spiritual journey, you're beginning to have signs and you're beginning to have a spiritual awakening, because that's happening right now as the veil thins, as the energetic vibe of the whole entire universe is raising. People are finding it much easier to tune into their spiritual bodies, and they're finding those gifts coming to the surface again. And frankly, a lot of people are being frustrated. And why is that happening? Like I said, you've brushed a lot of your knowledge under the rug. And so when you begin to tune in to spirits, communication with the spirit world, angels, spirit guides, whatever that you want to do, just even your own intuitive senses, you need to relearn how to get in touch with that side of yourself. You need to relearn the systems that the energetic world and the spiritual world use to communicate. There's actual systems and processes that they use. And most likely, you kind of somewhat know some of the systems, but you even don't tend to trust them, because your belief system has now shifted from being very open and being very tuned into the spirit world. Now your belief system is shifted to a more physically based knowledge belief system. So it makes it hard to bridge the gap between your physical belief system and your spiritual knowledge. It begins to get hard to bridge that gap, and then you're constantly looking for confirmation that, oh, that's what that is, oh, that's what it feels like. So the first thing that happens is becoming aware that if you're having I've been posting so much stuff in my groups this week, my Higher Purpose Learning group, and on my Facebook page about psychic signs. So if you're wondering about any of those things, definitely there's links below. Check out my group, go to my Facebook page, join in the conversation, and I will be posting signs all week, things about hearing something while you're sleeping, or being very connected in to your angels and whatnot. There's a bunch of signs that I'm going to be posting on that. So the first thing is awareness. You don't even have to be in the group, truthfully. If you feel like your awareness is heightened and you feel like there's some type of message that you're supposed to be getting, that is really the first indicator that you're tuning into your spiritual body again. But the second thing is you need to have the proper knowledge then of how to take that further. You need to have the knowledge of separating your spiritual body from your physical body. You need to have the knowledge of remembering and retraining yourself to understand how the spiritual world communicates, because it's different. It's different. Their communication system is very different than the physical world. And sometimes it scares the bejesus out of people, but not when you have the knowledge. When you have the knowledge of the communication system, then it becomes easier to tap into that system. And then you will practice development. You will practice tuning in. You will be able to practice the feeling. You will be practicing understanding and feeling the system, being aware, understanding the communication system. Then you will practice tuning into that system. But that all takes a learning, a training. It takes more than you would think. So definitely read anything you can if you want to on there or out there. There's lots of books, but that can also be confusing. If you're interested, I have a Keys to Spirit World book that's on Amazon. Just type in Keys to the Spirit World. I will try to put a link to that below. That will also help get you started. I did the book to help people begin to learn to tune into their psychic senses and to learn into how to reconnect in with the spirit world. So that's a really easy, cheap way to get going. And that the results with that book have been quite amazing. And it's like $3.99 or something. So that's a very good tool to take you to the next step, because you will now, if you're aware and you're feeling frustrated, you now need to start adding tools into your spiritual toolbox of knowledge and connecting and retraining yourself how to connect in. And then after you do, if you're advanced and you've done all those things and you're feeling very frustrated still, that's why I've done classes, but I'm sure there's plenty of people out there doing classes. So that would be a good time to take it to the next level and check out some classes and maybe do some one-on-one or group settings where you can learn the system of reconnecting, because it's a process. It's an actual system. You were taught to walk, you were taught to eat, you were taught to play basketball, you were taught to throw a football, or you were taught to swim. You need to be re-taught and retrained how to connect in with the spirit world and their communication system. It's a training. There's a system involved. So awareness is the first thing. Read anything that you can will be the second thing. Practice tuning in the feeling that you get when you're tuning in. I would highly suggest my Keys to the Spirit World book. It's cheap, it's effective, and it's like $3.99, and we've had great success with that. It's why I wrote the book. There'll be a lot of starter stuff in there for you. Well, actually there's some advanced stuff too, but that will definitely get you started on getting away from those blocks and reconnecting and breaking down the barriers of your physical belief system. And if you've done all those things, you're still feeling blocked and frustrated, then I highly suggest you take some classes from somewhere. I also offer classes, but from whoever you vibe with. Always read and take classes from who you vibe with, by the way. If you're out there looking for stuff after you've read this video, if something doesn't feel right to you or the person doesn't feel right to you, just disregard that and move on. There's plenty of information out there. Find somebody who you resonate with, and that should be where you begin your next journey. So have the most amazing day. I hope this is helpful. If you enjoyed it, subscribe. Until next time, aloha.